Reached out to my psychiatrist today, John. Fairly decent man, very blissed out, very zen. Okay, the amount of dead cats I see here is not great for my brain. I don't like that. That's very sad. I should check on Astrid. So a lot of respect for John, a lot of appreciation, at least in terms of like getting me in touch with resources and being very responsive on that end. He's great. There is a thing, and this is the thing I struggle with when, being support to friends and, even with myself and just in general, considerations of distrust of authority and stuff. I feel as though if I explain my situation enough, the reasons why I distrust authority figures who just kind of pass the buck along makes a little bit of sense. I was experiencing a intense, anxiety-driven, psychotic episode in my early 20s, at least a couple times, stress-induced, and undoubtedly, psychotic, but more apparently situational and all that, it seems now, because they seem pretty chill outside of all that. And obviously those things are episodic and triggered, but it's just a lot of things that don't quite add up, and for how sick the medication can make you, listen, there's ways to do it. I definitely, as they go, I definitely have recommendations over others, but as someone who just doesn't really seem to need it, and my current care team's really evaluating that, it's a little disheartening how quick in any physical medicine or psychiatric situation, doctors just want to check boxes. This guy receives a diagnostic form from Audrey or whoever I saw before, and he's like, oh yeah, well, okay. And he ticks this box, this box, this box. He asked me a couple questions. I do describe the symptoms, but the symptoms are, it is a little telling that, for all the antipsychotics I took, I still had lots of episodes. But, the weed thing's not great, and I'm trying to reflect on that, and so I'm kind of rolling off a weed hangover right now, but too many gummies. I need to really step back, and part of that's, I think, being off the meds. I think my tolerance is lower, but it is very telling that, my most reflective and, self, managing, most accountable states are just a little high, a little suppressed, just chill. You can absolutely go overboard with that shit. You can rocket yourself into, the anxiety and the panic states, and I have done that. But this, my therapist is more or less with me on this. John, at least, supported me with getting it off stuff immediately to sort out the arrhythmia, and frankly, the arrhythmia is a lot better. A lot of physical things, I have had this long-running theory that the amounts of lithium they put me on to correct a fairly minor error in the level it's a pretty high dose, and the kidney stress, I definitely started really gaining weight around that point as a teenager, and lithium's an intense drug to put a fucking 12-year-old on. So I don't know. It is weird because I also have, I certainly can think of things I probably do need, and I'm not anti-psychiatry, but it does very much seem that the people who are most invested in our care aren't really, if that makes sense. And that's just a thing I've learned, But also it might just be a matter of who I go to and being on Medicaid and all that. I could probably reach out to Hopkins. I am certainly a fun fact. I never know who to share this with because I don't really know what to make of it. I don't know if I'm proud of it, but it is just a weird thing about me. I am to my understanding, I am in 3 different Johns Hopkins curriculums, or at least at different points across 3 different departments. For different conditions. I think they use my autism eval for one thing. I got diagnosed twice. Oh. Never read your psych eval, by the way. It's rough. It's clinical. You hear a lot of words used about yourself that are a little upsetting as a fairly scared child, but the brain bleed thing, and I mean, like, I go back and forth on whether or not I feel like I scammed the schizoaffective department. They were open to like any kind of psychotic disorder, and there's anxiety with psychotic features, depression with psychotic features. I mean, those are possible options here. So I'm trying to stay open. I'm trying to be my best self, be open to treatment. There are certainly bad moments I've had, and the tendency of my family towards religious things, things that go a little bit beyond just like the normal practices. I'm aware of it. I try not to be the kind of person who baptizes people in their sleep. True story. So I don't think I have a sign off anymore. I hate how far everything is here. I love this place a lot, but also like Frostburg is like a weirdly scattered town that's mostly uphill towards the university that has nothing worthwhile for. I mean, frankly, Frostburg University is the size of my community college, which fair. But I really shouldn't dox myself. I mean, Frostburg's general enough, but Cumberland, I guess, is probably the big work site. But yeah, I'm gonna be going there tomorrow. Yeah, I guess I'm heading east for east. Is that, yeah, it's east. All right. Well, that's it.